But just because he created us doesn't mean that we're fulfilling the purpose that he has for us. Hey y'all, I'm coming to you today with something a little bit different. So I am on the loading dock of what used to be the old bottling plant in Blue Spring. Now this building was built with a purpose by a man that had a vision to be the bottling plant where they would bottle water at. And it operated for a little bit of time. And then they shut it down. Even though it's not in use, it's still standing, it's still a thing. And it got me to thinking about us as people. See, we were created by God, who had a vision for us to do something. But just because he created us doesn't mean that we're fulfilling the purpose that he has for us. The Bible tells us in the book of Matthew that God knows every hair on our head. But it also tells us in Luke that we are worth more than 2 sparrows. What it boils down to is what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 22. He says, many are called, but few are chosen. See, just because we've got a purpose that God has made for us to do, that we've got something that we're supposed to do in our lives, does not mean that we're doing it just like this old abandoned building. It still looks like the water plant, it still has the equipment and the wells, but inside it's hollow because this building is not fulfilling the purpose that it was created for. So that's the same way for us. Just because God has called you to do something doesn't mean that that's actually what you're doing. So I want to encourage you today to get out there and fulfill your purpose. Get out there and do what it is that God has called you to do. If you don't know what it is, then seek the Lord. If you don't know the Lord, then you need to get to know the Lord so that you can get to know your purpose. Because whether you believe in God or not, whether you are saved or not, you were created with a purpose. Just like this building that I'm walking around. It's your job to find out what that purpose is. And the only person that can answer that question is Jesus. Paul, even though we see him as one of the greatest men in the New Testament, he wasn't fulfilling his purpose until he had that Damascus Road experience. Once he had that Damascus Road experience, he knew what he was supposed to be doing, and he spent the rest of his life doing it. So let me encourage you today that whether you are 60 or whether you're 16, there's a purpose for you, and once you find that purpose in Jesus, chase after it with everything you've got. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Catch us tomorrow.